Good morning, and what a propitious morning this is. Welcome to the grand opening, the official grand opening of the LA Metro Regional Connector Transit Project. I'm George Takei, and it's my pleasure and honor to serve as your Master of Ceremonies this morning. I'm a native Angeleno, born and raised, and I used to ride on the RTD buses and streetcars all over Los Angeles. And some of you might know me from my acting career when I was involved with Galactic Public Transit, soaring through the galaxies as the helmsman of another futuristic public transit vehicle called the Starship Enterprise. But in 1973, Mayor Tom Bradley brought me back down to earth and appointed me to a seat on the Southern California Rapid Transit District Board of Directors. And his mandate to us was to get started on building the first Los Angeles subway system connecting Union Station through downtown Los Angeles, out Wilshire Boulevard, through Hollywood, on to the Valley and Van Nuys. This was his vision, the beginning of his vision. He had a huge vision of public transportation radiating out from downtown Los Angeles to the far reaches of Los Angeles County, tying together and connecting the diverse and complicated region here. And in 2014, I was given the unique honors of serving as the Master of Ceremonies of the groundbreaking of the LA Metro Rail Regional Transit Connector Project. And here we are, full circle round in 2023 to commemorate the grand opening of that project, the opening of the LA Metro Regional Connector Transit Project. It's a momentous time. Please rise for the national anthem sung by who was it? Urban Voices.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Reverend William Briones for the invocation.
We're gathered here this morning right across the street from the Little Tokyo Arts District, to celebrate the completion and opening of the Regional Connector Transit Project. And while this is a joyous occasion, let us reflect, and with our hearts and minds bent in deep gratitude and appreciation, express our joy and simple thankfulness to the innumerable causes and conditions that has allowed Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, with the support of all the Angelenos throughout the city and county, to embark on such an important and much needed transportation link to connect East Los Angeles to Santa Monica and Azusa and Long Beach. May the completion of the regional connector and the 3 new stations serve this community and the people in the best way possible. May the ultimate truth of reality so shine within your hearts and minds, and may our leaders of our great community continue to guide us with compassion and wisdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Briones. And now, please welcome LA Metro Board Chair Ara Najarian.
Good morning, everyone. What a great morning it is. It gives me great pleasure to welcome every person this morning as Metro proudly announces the opening of the Regional Connector Project. At noon today, Metro will officially open its newest light rail project that will truly transform the way Angelenos travel through downtown Los Angeles and connect with the broader Los Angeles County region. Metro and its state and federal funding partners have collectively invested $1.8 billion to build this new rail project. The regional connector combines the A, E, and L lines into 2 rail lines to make it easier, faster, and more convenient to access all that Los Angeles County has to offer. We have stitched together the A line and most of the L line to create a 1-seat ride between Azusa and Long Beach. Take notes now. This line will now be called the A line. At nearly 50 miles, we claim that it is the longest transit rail line in the country, if not the world. We have also stitched the East Los Angeles section of the L line to the E line, creating another 1-seat ride between East LA and Santa Monica. This nearly 23-mile rail line will now simply be called the E line. These reconfigured rail lines will save Metro riders 20 minutes of time traveling through downtown LA by eliminating the need to transfer trains at either Los Angeles Union Station or the 7th Street Metro Station. What's more is we've built 3 new underground light rail stations here in the Little Tokyo Arts District, and what a beautiful district it is, historic Broadway, and the Bunker Hill Grand Avenue districts. And if you like the opera that we heard, that would be the station that you would get out at the Disney Concert Hall. These new stations will provide direct rail access to most of downtown Los Angeles's world-class cultural, employment, historic, arts, and entertainment districts. The regional connector is truly the missing link in Metro's ever-expanding rail system. And now that it's completed, it will help catalyze ridership growth system-wide in the years ahead. Metro anticipates that in 2035, there will be 90,000 daily trips made in this new 2-mile segment, including 17,000 new transit riders. Of course, we want you all to try out the new regional connector and experience its mobility benefits for yourself. And that's why Metro will be offering free rides on its entire bus, rail, Metro Micro, and Metro Bike Share system starting today and extending through this Father's Day weekend. So please, all of you, bring your friends, your family. Come out, your senators, your White House representatives, everyone. Bring them out to support public transit and make the connection on Metro's new regional connector. Thank you.
Good morning, Los Angeles. Good morning, Los Angeles. Are we ready to ride? All right, all right. Well, first of all, you may have been told it's the voice of God, and I guess it is. It's George Takei. Good to see you, my friend, and happy Pride. It's a great day, not just for Little Tokyo, but for all of us throughout the region as we dedicate this regional connector project. And I do want to say a big thank you to a lot of the dignitaries that are here. We're going to be joined by MayorKarenBass. Well, we're joined by Congressman Jimmy Gomez, Supervisor Hilda Solis, Advisor Mitch Landry, straight from the White House. And we're going to ask him to report back to the president that this is a BFD, a beautifully fine day in Los Angeles. Of course, to Stephanie Wiggins, the CEO, and the entire board of directors at LA Metro, and everybody who made this day possible. It's a tremendous example for the region and for the country of what happens when our federal government, our state government, and our local government work together. But I also want to take a moment to recognize what better way to do it than by also honoring one of the greatest Americans we have been blessed to know, former Congressman Norm Mineta, a trailblazing Californian. Absolutely. A trailblazing Californian who fought for equal representation and just treatment in America and focused a good amount of his career on improving how Americans travel. And so thank you to the leadership at the Japanese American National Museum for hosting this morning's dedication. It might have taken a few years to get to where we are, but it was absolutely worth the wait. And I'm happy to speak before you as your United States Senator. I was a member of the Environment and Public Works Committee, sharing credit with my colleague, Senator Feinstein. She's the one on the Appropriations Committee, so we got to tag team this thing. But also as someone who was proud to be born and raised in Los Angeles. And I remember not just as a kid using that bus pass to ride what was then the RTD, all the way down Van Nuys Boulevard or all the way down Laurel Canyon to go to the movies with friends, accompanying my mom sometimes, taking the RTD all the way south on Laurel Canyon till the very end at Ventura Boulevard before she started walking up the hill to go clean houses in Studio City when I was growing up. Flash forward in 1994, 1995, a little history for the Metro folks. I was a young Coro fellow working my way to public service. And one of my assignments, Mr. Fujioka, was with Metro. And I remember being in awe at celebrations like this when we were first dedicating the initial blue line stations, red line stations, green line stations. That was almost 30 years ago. And here we are, full circle, not just growing the system, not just expanding the system, but improving the system so the folks who ride Metro, both the buses and now the trains, are doing it because they want to, not just because they need to. Last thing I'll close with is this. As I get to brag on Metro with my colleagues from across the country, I often get asked, why is Los Angeles the only place that measures distance, the distance of your commute, in time, not miles? How far do you live from LAX? How far do you live from City Hall? 30 minutes, 45 minutes, that doesn't help me in my planning. Pretty soon it's going to be just a few stops away. You're going to be there in 10 minutes, not 30 minutes, because the Connector Project has made riding the train in Los Angeles that much more efficient. It's a big, beautiful, fine day in Los Angeles, and I'm proud to be here for this celebration. Thank you so very much.
Now, please welcome LA County Supervisor and Metro Board Member Hilda Solis.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Senator Padilla, for gracing us today. Good morning, everyone. And a big buenos dias. Today is the day, and it's our day. The day in which we open this critical integration of our rail network, finally linking Los Angeles. The regional connector is central to our vision to provide equitable access to quality mobility options. Angelenos will now have expanded transit access to Little Tokyo, the Arts District, the Civic Center, the Historic Core, Broadway, Grand Avenue, Bunker Hill, the Financial District, and beyond. We could not have built this transformative project without the support of all of you. Our residents, our local businesses, our labor, our workers, and our transit riders. Give yourselves a big round of applause. But I want to take a moment also to really thank the downtown LA community, specifically Little Tokyo and Bunker Hill residents and stakeholders who accommodated the construction activity during this time. Mom and pop businesses help anchor neighborhood identity and were most at risk of being adversely impacted by this construction. Mitigating construction impacts and stabilizing communities is just as important as expanding transit. To that end, we established and continue to fund the Business Interruption Fund to make grants impacted businesses. So I thank you for your patience, your paciencia, but most importantly, your partnership in this endeavor. I also want to acknowledge the East Side residents and workers whose lives have been disrupted because of the construction. Today is your win because East LA and Boyle Heights will now get reconnected. Thank God. And my sincerest gratitude to the hundreds of skilled men and women, those in the labor movement who helped to build the regional connector. God bless you. God bless America. This project exceeded our goals to employ a diverse construction workforce, especially talent from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, to build an underground tunnel in an urban neighborhood and navigate a maze of existing infrastructure, as you know, is not an easy feat. But guess what? You all did it. You built this. And I also want to acknowledge the strong support of our good friend and our president, Joseph Biden, our president, and the administration. Our federal partners who contributed nearly $1 billion to this critical infrastructure project. And with that, I have the great honor of welcoming our senior advisor to President Joe Biden, an infrastructure implementation coordinator, our friend, nuestro amigo, Mitch Landrieu, who is joining us today on this beautiful day to celebrate all of this. Please give him a warm Los Angeles welcome.
Wow, good morning, everybody. How are you? A BFD, huh, Senator? I happen to agree with you. George used the word propitious. I like that word. It's great to be with all of you today. I'm especially thankful, Hilda, to you for your work. Senator, thank you for all the work that you've done. Congressman, thank you for all of your help. Senator Feinstein has also been an incredible champion, and I'm thrilled to be here on behalf of President Biden and someone you know well, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, who is a leader on this team as well. So give her a round of applause. I'm also just incredibly moved to be here with the Mineta family, who is going to be appropriately honored today for the secretary, the dad, who passed not too long ago, who was a giant in the world that we lived in. He actually is, I think, the only person that has served in 2 cabinets for a Republican and a Democrat. Also was a congressman, also was the mayor, I think, of San Jose. And his life is a testament to, I think, one of the reasons why we're here today. Until he was 3 years old, he was in the internment camp, one of the most shameful periods in our country's history, and at a very early age, and in a very personal way, learned about bigotry and isolation that can come from anger and fear when we turn on each other. And I think there's a lesson there for us to learn as we come here today to honor a connector project, a transportation project that doesn't separate and alienate or isolate people, but brings people together. So to the Mineta family, on behalf of the president, thank you so much for everything that you have done, and thank you, of course, for your dad. Supervisor Solis and folks that are here today, as I look around, my heart is really filled with joy. Y'all may know I'm working in Washington during the week, but I'm from Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans. Yeah, you can clap at that. That's a good thing. Because LA and LA, especially through New Orleans, are connected through the Great Migration. Many of our folks left, and you know where they came? They came right here to Los Angeles. And we are both the better for it, because we have learned the really value of diversity. Whether it's culture, music, art, history, business, we are connected in a very, very, very special way. And so when I come here, I feel very much at home. I don't need to tell you that the President of the United States understands the need to fix infrastructure in America. This president, when he ran for office, said that he was going to do 3 things: rebuild the soul of America, unite this country, and actually rebuild the backbone of the country. And we're doing all 3 of those here today. The Invest in America agenda, passing the rescue plan, passing the bipartisan infrastructure law, passing the CHIPS Act, passing the PACT Act, passing the Inflation Reduction Act, $1.6 billion in a really simple theory. If you invest in the people of America and you invest in the infrastructure in America and bring us together, you can do big things. As a matter of fact, it is the only time we can do big things is when we do it together. And as I look around at this audience, and I want you to take in what you see, I want you to take in the diversity of people that are sitting in this audience. I want you to think about the federal, state, local folks that are here. I want you to think about the folks that were turning dirt. I want you to think about the folks that were designing. I want you to think about all of us that it took to make this a reality, and you will understand that the president's vision for America is exactly right. When we go forward together, we can do big things. And this is an incredible example of that. And I think that all of you may know by now, in the infrastructure law, this is a $1.2 trillion investment in America to rebuild the roads, the bridges, the airports, the ports, the waterways, high-speed internet so that a little girl doesn't have to sit in the back of her mama's car stealing internet from McDonald's, so that she can become the person that's going to save our lives in the year to come. Clean air, clean water. And then, of course, getting people to and from where they need to be in time so that they can be with their family, be with their friends, be with their children. And that is what these investments are like. This is not the first time that I have actually been here. Not too long ago, I was up in San Francisco at that beautiful bridge that y'all call the Golden Gate Bridge, with about $600 million so that we could put brake pads on it or shocks on it, so when those things happen, that bridge actually stays sturdy. Not long after that, I was there again with the Speaker Emerita at Caltrain. A couple of weeks ago, I was down in San Diego where we cut ribbon on a $70 million bridge, which is the largest project in San Diego. And then I headed down into the Imperial Valley to think about the water crisis that we're having. And of course, the president was here not too long ago with a $4 billion check for the Purple Line. And of course, the vice president has been here many, many, many times. There have been a number of projects that have been funded because the president understands that getting to and from places and creating jobs and creating economic development is critically important. And Hilda told you in this particular project, there is another $1 billion in this project from the president, because he is, as we are going to be here at the beginning and at the middle and at the end, so that we can connect everybody to where they have to go, where they need to be. And he is so very thankful to all of the men and women that have actually done this. Now, before I end, let me just say this one thing. When I was walking up here, I met one of the gentlemen, David Gonzalez, who's sitting right over there with his kids, who was one of the carpenters in Carpenters 805. And I want to thank all the folks that work in the unions that have built these jobs, because that is who the president sees. And as Senator Padilla reminded us, and the metrics on this thing, when it is up and operating and doing what it's supposed to do under this new design, an individual is going to be able to save 20 minutes of their life just one way. So I'm guessing it's 40 throughout the day. And if you are using this line because you want to or because you have to, and you save 40 minutes in a day, I want you to think about that family over there and his two children, Ava and Andrew, who were us. I don't know about you, Senator, but when I was in the state legislature, I used to commute back and forth from Baton Rouge to Louisiana on the I-10, or we would call it the 10, as the way y'all describe things, the 5, the 405. I was on it last night. Y'all need to go. We need to go faster. There's no question about that. But I remember being really stressed out about trying to get home after session and worrying about whether I was going to get to the ballpark on time and see my kid and show up 5 minutes late when he just got a run, or trying to get home before they went to bed, or trying to get to work on time, or trying to make sure that you can keep your schedule. The most important thing that we have in our life, it's the only finite thing that you can't replace, is time. And so, Senator, as you all count your life and time, this particular project, 20 minutes a day, is going to save you, over the work time of a lifetime, 151 days of your life. Now that, my friends, is something that is not measurable. That is something that is not countable. So as we come to a close, saving time, creating jobs, connecting people together, think about the life that Norman Mineta lived and the signal that he sent us, and President Biden's desire to unite us. Could there be a more propitious, George, day? Could there be a more convening of all of those different issues to prove the point that in America, when we come together, when we connect ourselves to each other, in spirit, in time, and yes, in transportation, the president believes, and I do too, there is nothing that we can't do. So on behalf of President Biden, Vice President Harris, let me thank you all for the work that you have done, the work that we're going to do together, because there's a lot more to come, folks. So as the president would say, let's go finish the job. Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a great day.
Please welcome Congressman Jimmy Gomez.
Good morning, Los Angeles. First, nobody told Mitch Landrieu that the 405 stands for, it takes 405 hours to get somewhere. So next time, call on Angelina and we'll tell you how to get around. First, let me just thank everybody for being here. This is a big deal. This is one of those moments that kind of marks our history as a city, but also tells us that LA is at its best when we think big and act boldly. And that's what we're doing here. We're recognizing that we're not a city of small little neighborhoods that are so far apart that we can't build a common future. We're doing something that brings people together. And as someone who did not have a car until I was about 25 years old, I used to ride public transportation all the time. And it was not because it was a choice, it's because I needed to. And that's what a lot of folks did back in the day. I'm glad we're going to have more people ride it as a choice. But we have to build things for the people who need it. The people that need to get to work, need to drop off their kids, need to make sure that their child is home at a decent hour. That's who we need to build it for. Because in the past, we used to build these big infrastructure projects without any consideration of the neighborhoods. Freeways that would divide communities, that would tear up homes, displace individuals without ever looking back. But we've moved beyond that. We're in a place that we understand that infrastructure projects need to be built for us and by us. And that's where we're at. And that's why this project means so much. I know that there's going to be folks on the east side, that I represent not only the east side, but downtown, Koreatown, and one of the most diverse districts in the entire nation. And this project builds and brings people together. That's what we should be proud of, because it's going to tell America that there is a different way, not one of division, but one of inclusion. And this is what it marks, the home of the new Ellis Island for the 21st century. And I want to say to all of you that if it wasn't for the workers, the people in the hard hats, the people that were sweeping, the people that were, breaking up the concrete, this wouldn't be done. And to all the experts, because yes, Supervisor Solis, my old boss in Congress, this was very difficult to do. If it was easy to build a tunnel, Elon Musk would have done it by now. So, and I want to just say one last thing. We would like infrastructure projects because you can cut a ribbon, but these are the things that we also have to recognize that there's people that build them. And right now we invested billions of dollars, not only on the regional connector, but the 6th Street Viaduct. That is a beautiful monument to the city of Los Angeles and its people. But we also have to invest in the human infrastructure, the people that make these cities buzz and make them vibrant. We got to invest in that human infrastructure. And one of those is when it comes to childcare. Because I'm talking to building trade individuals who are saying that they can't go to work because there are often single fathers and single mothers because they have nowhere to drop off their child. Right? Think about that. Right? Childcare as infrastructure, because it helps the workers get to the place they need to get to build these monuments, to modern engineering and to a modern society. So I want to just say thank you all for being here. This is a great day, and enjoy the ride. Thank you so much.
Please welcome FTA Regional Administrator Ray Tellis.
Good morning, everyone. Certainly, what a wonderful day. We should add T to that BFD for transit, right? What a wonderful transit day. Privilege to be here. So on behalf of the FTA, the Federal Transit Administrator, Nuria Fernandez, I certainly want to bring her congratulations as you celebrate the opening of the system, the regional connector this morning. But before I say a few words, I want to thank the Senator Padilla and Representative Gomez for your efforts in Congress to bring the federal funding for this project on Capitol Hill. So I certainly want to thank you. I want to thank the Mayor, Mayor Bass, the Supervisor Solis, the Chair Najarian, and certainly I want to point out, right, with the infrastructure law that Mr. Landrieu talked about, we are bringing the most funding for transit in the history of transit. So President Biden and Vice President Harris and the administration with Mr. Landrieu's work is bringing $108 billion for public transportation over the course of the next 5 years. That is unprecedented, and we are thrilled about that at the Federal Transit Ministry. So I have a lot of details here, but you've already heard them about the length of the connector but most importantly, how it will connect people, right? How you will save having to transfer lines, save precious time, and certainly bring access to jobs and schools and healthcare and recreation. And you have here Little Tokyo, this beautiful museum, and what we are doing here, I think what you are doing collectively as a community through Metro with some assistance from us at the federal level is really bringing that connectivity and the level playing field that transit brings to people all across this country, but particularly here in Los Angeles. So we are certainly thrilled for our effort. I want to recognize the Federal Transit Administration team that has contributed over years since we started in 2014, as Mr. Takai alluded to contribute to the success of this project and the success that we are enjoying here this morning. So thank you, team. So I have a catchphrase here, and I want you all to remember that wherever Metro goes, opportunity goes. So keep that in mind as we switch to transit and see better air quality and better access and all of the contributions that transit does. We brought $730 million here. We added to that a $160 million infrastructure loan, and certainly all of this has brought the benefits, The important part is as we go forward to implement through Metro an increasingly world-class caliber system, we are going to be prepared, Metro and us collectively, to host visitors for the 2016 World Cup, and then 2 years later for the 2026 World Cup, and 2 years later for the 2028 Olympics and Paralympics. So we are pleased at the FTA to be part of all of that. We are privileged to be part of all of that. Thank you for the opportunity to join you today.
Please welcome the chairman of the board of the Japanese American National Museum, Bill Fujioka.
Well, good morning. First, I want to thank George Takei. He's a chair emeritus of the Japanese American National Museum. And before I get into my 10-page speech, I'm kidding. It's one page. I know a lot of you have never been to the Japanese American National Museum. Some of you, this is the first time. But I encourage you to come back to the museum. I encourage you to come and hear our story. It's a story of social injustice, of civil rights violation. It's a story of struggle, but it's also a story of strength. It's an American story. On behalf of the Japanese American National Museum, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the opening of the Metro Regional Connector that's been named in honor of Secretary Norman Mineta. Norman was Secretary Mineta, I call him Norman, I apologize, was the chair of the museum's board for many years and strengthened our role as a beacon for social justice, equity, and the pursuit of democracy. The plaza where you sit in right here is what we call our ground zero for the Japanese American civil rights. In this plaza, thousands of Japanese individuals of Japanese heritage were forced onto buses here, and they were taken to 75 assemblies, taken to desolate areas in America and placed behind barbed wires in concentration camps. George Takei, as a young child, was pushed on a bus at this very site. My family were put on buses at this site. My family was taken to Heart Mountain, Wyoming, away from Los Angeles, away from family, friends, and neighbors. Norm Mineta's family was also taken to Heart Mountain. It was at this facility where Norm Mineta forged his passion for social justice and for equity. Over 128,000 individuals of Japanese heritage, a significant number were American citizens, were placed in 75 assembly centers and concentration camps in America. Following the bombing of the World Trade Center, when Secretary Mineta stood up to fight for social justice, when a number of people were trying to profile Muslims, but he said, no, I'm not going to let this happen to the Muslim community, because this is exactly what happened to my community when he was a young man. He stood up against the social injustice that someone wanted to perpetrate upon the Muslim community. This is only one example. There's not a single one of you in the audience today who has not been impacted by Secretary Mineta's actions, by his life, and by his commitment to social justice, equality, and democracy. So please join me in honoring this amazing man today and forever. Thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a video for the Secretary's wife and his life partner, Denny Mineta.
Hello, everyone. My name is Denny Mineta, and it's so nice to be here with you today. I wish I could be in person, but I'll take this. He loved transportation. Norm loved the possibility of yes. That really kind of sums up Norm too. And I think this connector connected two things that Norm truly loved. He loved Janum. He loved the idea that maybe someday someone could get off that train station who had never thought of going to Janum before and walk across the street and be exposed to a world that maybe they had never seen before, a culture they had never seen before. I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity. I'd like to thank CEO Wiggins. I'd like to thank the Metro Board, my Janum family, my family that's actually there, our sons, Bob and Dave. I'm so grateful that they could be there to share this moment. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know that Norm would be humbled, honored, and so pleased that this day had happened.
Now it's my honor to introduce Norm's two sons, David Mineta and Robert Brantner, who will speak on behalf of the family.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the dignitaries, all the electeds, and just good morning to all our friends here this morning. I also like to say hi to Denny, who's watching online right now as well from Maryland. Again, my name is David Mineta. I'm the oldest of four sons of Denny and Norm Mineta. I'm also fortunate to be on the board of governors of the Japanese American National Museum, which means Bill and Ann are my bosses. I have to say, I want to start off with an essential and it's somewhat uncomfortable question, but I have to get this out. Sort of the elephant in the room, and it has to be asked today. How did Metro name this station after a Northern Californian, Cal alum, lifelong Warriors, 49er, and Giants fan? And the answer is simply that above all else, he believed that public transit should be the most efficient, safe, environmental friendly system for the masses without regard for party affiliation, zip code you were born into, or all the things that bring influence in life. It was the same goal for all modes of transit, air, sea, surface. So when you hear someone ask, who is Norman Mineta to have a station named after him? Please tell them he was a good, kind man, incarcerated with his family during World War II by his own government. He was a lifelong public servant who worked his entire career as a mayor, congressman, first Asian American in a presidential cabinet, and Secretary of Transportation on a 9/11, who understood that civil rights and transportation and mass transit and public transit actually go together. Thank you for remembering Dad. Thank you, Metro, for doing this. Thank you for all the locals and all the federal and state officials for bringing dollars to make this happen. Again, on behalf of our family, we just want to say thanks. And here's Bob.
Today is especially special for me because when my mother and my stepfather Norm got married, my mother, my brother, and I were from Southern California. And Northern California's always been so welcoming to us. It's so nice to come home and to have all of you honoring my family and bringing my extended family just the way the Northern California family's done. So I am just absolutely, I'm honored, I'm thrilled, and I'm so touched to have everyone here today and to have this station bear my father's name. The two great loves of our dad's professional life has been his support for the AAN HPI community and improving transportation infrastructure in our great country. This new regional connector at the Little Tokyo Arts District Station perfectly embodies both of those passions. The association of our dad's name with this station is the perfect melding of these two great loves. I have no doubt that right now our dad is looking down on all of us here today and smiling that impish grin of his, and would like me to pass along to all of you one simple message: thanks a million. Now please join us as we unveil our dad's plaque.
And now please welcome Los Angeles Mayor and Metro Board Member Karen Bass.
Good morning, everyone. It is a wonderful day in Los Angeles for this celebration. And let me just say to Secretary Manetta's sons, it is perfect that we named this station after the Secretary. I think it is so emblematic of our city, Los Angeles, because right now, historically, we're going through a very strange time in our country where there are people and cities and states and communities that want to deny our history, that want to erase our history. But in Los Angeles, we embrace our history. The good, the bad, the ugly, we embrace it because it is what makes us the United States, and it is what makes us Angelenos. And I will say that I grew up with stories from my mother about how one day she woke up and her neighbors were all being rounded up and taken away. I had teachers and friends whose parents were incarcerated during that ugly time in our history. So Secretary Manetta was from Northern California, but Los Angeles embraces him. And it is wonderful to see David again. I didn't know the secretary, but certainly knew his son and worked with him many, many years ago. So it is great to be here for the grand opening of the Regional Connector. What you are seeing across the street and what's going on below us is the results of years of hard work by so many leaders who are here with us today. And I just want to take a moment to recognize them and the work that they did. On behalf of our city, we thank you. But today is also about working Angelenos who made this happen. So I want to take this opportunity to recognize Kat Cruz. Kat Cruz, where are you? We want you to stand if you are here. We want to recognize her. She began her construction career as an apprentice working on the Regional Connector. And since then, she has advanced to journey worker status and is now an instructor, and the first female instructor at that, to train the next generation of our construction workers and to inspire more women to join in the union. And how about this? Kat's daughter, Genesis, has since followed her path as an apprentice and journey worker on another project, another metro project. When I was in Congress, I'm proud to say that we passed legislation that was signed in law by our president, and that our friend Mitch Landrieu is working so hard to implement. One of the major victories in that bill was that we also made it so that the agencies like Metro could prioritize the hiring of local residents like Kat and Genesis. And I want to acknowledge my former congressional colleague, Representative Jimmy Gomez. We fought hard for that bill, and it was one of the accomplishments that I'm proud to say we did, since Congress is not known, especially right now, for many accomplishments. But that's what we're working toward, a metro built by all of us, for all of us, And so again, I want to thank everyone who helped us get here today, from Metro staff to contractors, and finally the voters that passed Measure R that finally made this funding possible. Thank you very much.
Please welcome California State Senator Maria Elena Durazo.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Thank you all for being here, and welcome to my district. I'm so proud to represent Little Tokyo, this area, the Civic Center in this district. Thank you for the acknowledgement of Secretary Manetta's public service. Thank you, Bill, and what a great video tribute. And I also want to add to Mr. Takai, thank you so much for your life's work, fighting for justice for everyone. You are truly an inspiration to us all. Thank you. And what a great day to stand here for the opening of our newest regional connector line. It's a landmark for our city, our county, for this downtown area. I'm so glad to be here to celebrate. This new transportation connection is not just about the convenience of bridging gaps between our various communities, but it's about creating new opportunities and connecting people in a more meaningful way. It will allow us to move people and eventually goods across the region, reducing congestion on our roads and highways. Nearly $1.8 billion of total investment happened here, and what a difference it made. We saw good, family-sustaining union jobs created. We had critical business fund with an Eat, Shop, and Play program. We have these efforts reflect the best of good planning, good investment, good job creation. In Sacramento, I chair the Senate Budget Committee on Transportation, and together with LA Metro and my legislative colleagues, we are working hard to secure LA's fair share of the state's transportation funding. And in the past, we haven't gotten our fair share, but we're going to make sure it comes to LA the way that it should. So as we gather today, our legislature has just sent the governor a budget proposal that provides $5 billion for transit over the next 3 years. We're going to get our fair share. And the funding will provide not only for capital, but also for operations, for our transit expenses and accountability. But just remember, all of you, that what we are celebrating today also came from people before us. All of us here are not the only ones who made this happen. Our previous mayors, our previous supervisors, city council members, federal officials, and voters who said, yes, we will increase our sales tax to contribute to a better transportation system. These investments make a real impact in our community. That's why I fought, along with our legislators, for more money in transit, and we're fighting to keep that investment this year. So let's celebrate this achievement. I want to thank our Metro Chair, Mr. Najarian, our CEO, a good friend of mine, Stephanie Wiggins. She's done an extraordinary job as CEO of LA Metro. I've seen her fight to put women, people of color, vulnerable communities on those jobs. She has led that, and I'm very grateful to you, my sister. Thank you to our sisters, our brothers, our siblings in labor, Chris Hannon, Sergio Rascon, everyone, the carpenters. Congratulations to the engineers, the participants, the planners, everyone. Let's build LA. Let's build union. Let's build clean communities. Thank you all very much.
And now please welcome Sergio Rascon, Business Manager, Laborers Local 300, and Joe Rangel, the District Representative, Los Angeles Orange County Building and Construction Trade Union.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Buenos dias. I am Sergio Rascon, and I represent qualified, competent, hard-working men and women at Labor's Local 300 Los Angeles.
And I'm Joe Rangel, here on behalf of the highly skilled and trained members of the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local Number 12. Also representing the Los Angeles and Orange Counties Building and Construction Trades Council.
We are here today to celebrate the monumental achievement with Metro, LA County, and the state of California. And all of the hardworking men and women who helped build this project with their blood, sweat, and tears. Every public infrastructure project is a team effort. And when it's a project as big as the regional connector, we are talking about literally thousands of union workers and many millions of work hours that they bring. This project is a shining example of what can be done, what can be accomplished when labor and management work together as a team with unity of purpose. I want to thank Metro, including our CEO, Stephanie Wiggins, the Metro Board, and the Metro staff for the partnership in this project.
Metro is the first transit agency in the nation to adopt an ambitious and forward-thinking project labor agreement. Through its groundbreaking project labor agreement and construction careers policy, Metro strives to diversify the workforce on construction projects to improve access to career opportunities and serve as a catalyst for improving socioeconomic status for minorities and women. The PLA requires 40% participation of construction workers residing in economically disadvantaged areas, 10% participation of disadvantaged workers, and 20% participation of apprentices. Sergio and I speak for all the union workers who helped build this incredible project when we say, thank you, Metro. Thank you to the people of Los Angeles County. We are excited to see the positive impact the regional connector will have to connect communities across the region.
And I speak for all union workers who helped build this incredible project when we say, thank you, Metro. Thank you for the people of Los Angeles County, and we are excited to see the positive impact of the regional connector that it will have to connect communities across the region. We look forward to continuing to work together with Metro for many years to come. Thank you so much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Executive Officer of Metro, Ms. Stephanie Wiggins.
Woo-hoo. All right, I'm the closer. I am the closer. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the transformation of our metro system as we open 3 new stations right here in LA's downtown core. Because of this amazing project, people from as far as Azusa now have an easier access to the beach, whether it's Santa Monica or Long Beach. And parts of East LA that were disconnected from the rail system throughout construction will now be reconnected and more accessible to residents and visitors. Families, tourists, and Angelenos, young and old, now have much easier access to cultural jewels like Disney Concert Hall, the Broad Museum, and the delights of Little Tokyo. And those of you who've been telecommuting might have some added incentive to come back to reconnect with the vibrancy of downtown LA. Yes, that's my CCA folks, yes. So this was a very complex project, and it was only possible because of many leaders who helped to fund, shape, and build it.
both our current board members and former board members who are here today with us. I saw Richard Katz and Bonnie Lowenthal and Nick Patsouris, as well as our current board, First Vice Chair DuPont Walker, former board member John Fasana, current director Fernando Dutra, many leaders who helped fund and shape this project. David and Robert and Mrs. Mineta, this day and this setting wouldn't have been possible without Secretary Mineta's tremendous efforts over the years. And I understand that today is actually Norm Mineta Day in the Secretary's hometown of San Jose. But of course, it's LA, and we gotta one-up them, David. So you tell them back in San Jose, we really know how to do Norm Mineta Day. We are so honored that you're able to join us. I also want to thank our incredible Metro staff who worked for years to make this project a reality. I have to do some shout outs. I want to thank our Regional Connector Project team led by our now Deputy Chief Program Management Officer, Matt Antonelli. He started out on this project as the Director of Construction, and we're looking for even more from him. I also want to thank our current and former program management chiefs, Rick Clark, Brian Pennington, and Acting Chief Sammy Gailey. I also want to thank our regional connector constructors, the Skanska USA and Trailer Brothers joint venture. Yes. Sergio Rascon, Local 300, and the building trades. You know, organized labor helped us have 7.7 million hours with no major injuries. That's an incredible accomplishment. That's what real skilled, trained, and well-paid labor will do for you. So for Regional Connectors and Trailer Brothers, shout out to Mike Aparicio and James Bailey, Christopher Brigard, our former Metro project managers, Girish Roy and Gary Baker, our Metro staff and project development, Dolores Roybal, Ray Sosa, Mike McKenna, Lori Lombardi, who went and got the money. Thank you, Lori. And Michael Harrington and Olga Arroyo and Jean Marie. And then those enterprising board staffers, Dan Rodman, where's Borja Leon? Dan Rodman, Borja Leon, and now Karina Macias and Ben Feldman, who are all over this, so thank you. And operations, Conan Chung, Edna Stanley, Hector Guerrero, Errol Taylor, Leticia Solis, and Chris Reyes. We would not be able to open today without you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the grand finale, the cutting of the ribbons. And so may I ask all the speakers that spoke today and all the past board members, Metro board members, as well as the Southern California Rapid Transit District board members, and Nick, you're one of them. He served on both boards, SCRTD and the LA Metro Board. And all of the speakers, please join us for the ribbon cutting.